but it still seems like God could infer that, given some set of conditions, some people are likely to do something, right?
I remember what
would then know.
Fuck, I remember it now. I remember exactly. I'm so sorry to cut you off. I'm evil. I'm cruel. I'm a sick fuck. Okay, RASOL, in your theology, why would God give us the ability to grape, but wouldn't give us the ability to blow up everybody else with our minds?
By the way, Holocaust telepathy is way better.
What is
because, it's Professor X does it to Magneto in some comic where he beams Holocaust trauma into Magneto's brain.
What the fuck?
It's really fucked up. But also, the reason why it's a better analogy is because you could just say, oh, well, he does give us the ability to unalive people. He certainly doesn't give us the ability to telepathically Holocaust people.
Yeah. Why doesn't he give me... It's like that one power that Darkseid has where he sends you to a realm where you die infinite deaths, but each one is substantially worse than the last.
Why wouldn't God... Symmetry breaker.
Why God...
why wouldn't God give us that power? Or why wouldn't God give us the power to beam
as if I can
that trauma into somebody's head?
And no, obviously there's other evils that could have been worse. So the evils that we have, I think he thought were sufficient.
But why?
Right, but what's the symmetry breaker?
Yeah.
Why is it that it's good that God gave us the ability to grape because free will, but it's also good that God didn't give us the ability to Holocaust telepathy people?
No, that's the thing. I wouldn't have an answer for it, but I don't need to have an answer for it. I just need to point out that some sin is good. The ability to sin is a good thing. I don't know why.
But you would still be able to sin if you were able to teleport Holocaust trauma into somebody's brain. If I made you, if I could just beam the trauma of having experienced the Holocaust into your head, certainly that would be sin. But I'm not able to do that.
Not to be too much of a contrarian, but I think that just whatever theodicy RASOL adopts, right? So it seems like here we're talking about free will. It seems possible that God just thinks that it's more morally valuable to have people have the ability to grape and not do it than it would be for people to have the ability to, do telepathic mind holocausts. And I don't know that, it's RASOL's burden here to provide a principled reason for that, right?
For just skeptical theism type response.
Well, I don't even know if it would be skeptical theism. It would just be that it's at least plausible. Something like that is at least plausible, right? And so it's not super expected, right? It wouldn't be extremely unlikely that if God existed, he would give us the ability to grape, but not the ability to telepathically beam mind holocausts into everybody, right? And as such, right, the theory isn't going to take
that actually does seem like a huge unexpected.
I agree that it would be unexpected, but the idea is just that it's not sort of insanely unexpected, such that there can't be.
It does seem insanely unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it does seem insanely unexpected because in both cases the outcomes are horrible trauma, and in both cases it was a anatomy design choice. So it just seems like that these are essentially the same, just different kinds of things. And so there needs to be some sort of distinguishing feature.
Yeah, there's a specific and distinct virtue in correctly directing your sexual faculties that there wouldn't be in correctly directing your... and this is going to depend on a bunch of whatever sort of theistic assumptions are being adopted or whatever, but it's at least not insane to me that someone might say something like, there's a virtue in directing your sexual faculties correctly that there isn't in directing your
telepathic faculties
correctly or something like that, or at least that's morally valuable enough that we want a world where people can do that, but we don't want a world where people can direct their telepathic holocaust. And maybe that's whatever account you want to give for why that is. Maybe there's something distinct about these sorts of this specific kind of intimacy being directed correctly, or I just think
sure. I think a symmetry breaker needs to be provided, and you're on your way to doing that. But I think without a symmetry breaker, it just seems very, very ad hoc.
Yeah, I guess the symmetry break. The thing that I would just disagree with isn't that there needs to be a symmetry breaker. I agree there does. Just that I don't think the symmetry breaker needs to be specified to some super intense degree, right? But that's maybe I'm being too much of a contrarian here, but it just seems like if I, suppose I think I have really good evidence for God's existence, right? It seems like I wouldn't be irrational to sort of think that this is just an instance where there's something more morally valuable about having this faculty and not having the other faculty. And so this shouldn't, the hit that theism takes here probabilistically isn't insanely strong, right? Because it doesn't require you to adopt some super strange theory about God's motivations or about God or whatever. But yeah.
That's interesting. I guess, gosh. But then maybe you could create like something that's like more in line about, well, if God values you not being able to improperly use your sexual faculties, then why wouldn't he give you the anatomy that lets you grape people from like a long range?
Yeah, I guess the idea would just be that like there's some balance of sexual faculties being able to be used improperly, like the ratio of that to harm caused by exercising these faculties in this way is such that the ratio would be too imbalanced if God did that, but it's
right,
it's not
sure.
imbalanced.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But then that just turns on like the insane fucking idea that the goodness that stems from the opportunities to grape that are like just not taken, like the goodness that stems from people not graping other people, like somehow outweighs the harm of grape when it's like as prevalent as it is.
Yeah, which that seems pretty implausible to me, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess not to be like cringe and soy, but I don't feel like a particularly good person when I don't grape people. I feel like a pretty normal person.
Sure, yeah.
So I guess maybe I just don't see like the goodness there.
But hold on, but you don't see a virtue when, as a parent, that you raised an individual that doesn't have the desire to grape?
I wouldn't be patting myself on the back if I raised a kid that doesn't grape. I'd be like, awesome, the bare minimum.
Yeah, but the fact that they don't have the desire, it means that you were actually a decent parent, like a decent society. Right, but if you're producing nothing but like shit,
I guess it's just kind of like expected, right?
I mean, like my parenting was really bad.
You can agree that it's good, right? That there's some moral good there. It's just crazy to think that moral good is so valuable that it outweighs the disvalue of.
But it is valuable.
Insane evil grape.
About human connection. It's
again, you can grant that it's valuable. It's just that it's not valuable enough to outweigh the insane evils that it costs, right?
Okay. RASOL, if you could snap your fingers right now and grape would just disappear, would you do it?
I wish grape didn't happen. Yeah, I wish. But then I don't have the knowledge that God has, right? Why He allows it. So, but under my knowledge,
you have reason to think that would actually not be a good thing to do, right?
Yeah, but I have limited knowledge too, right?
Sure. Wait, but you do know that God isn't doing anything about it, and that God knows better. That from God's perspective, it is good, right?
But I'm telling you, like the plan, right? The plan that God put forward. Like I'm even like giving glimpses into how this plays out and why it's such a beautiful plan. Because on one side of the plan, like reasonable, like responsible people produce good people, right? And irresponsible, like shitty people produce bad people. So this play of like society and connection between each other, I think it's a beautiful plan, right? So it plays out and
maybe let's just get
the degree to which that would be undermined by not allowing people to grape would just not be like the degree that we're undermining that good is just nowhere near the degree that grape undermines good, right? Or makes the world worse, right? Like that seems just obviously true to me, right?
So maybe like a good let's get like super linear. So there's a button in front of you. If you push that button, grape disappears for whatever reason. Maybe like our anatomy changes and so grape disappears. You would push that button, correct?
I would in my limited knowledge.
Yeah, would God push that button?
I think God has a reason for allowing all these things.
Sure. So from God's perspective, is it all things considered good?
The ability to do so, yes. The actual doing of it, no.
Sure, right. Okay, so all things considered, from God's perspective, God prefers the world that has grape in it.
No. Did you hear what I said? There's a difference between the possibility to the actuality of it.
Well, God knows that that the world with the good that is, people being able to abstain from grape requires or is going to entail. I guess it depends on your view of free will or whatever, but God knows, I guess, never mind, because you're an open theist, but it seems like God could at least infer, right, even if you're an open theist, that allowing people to do this is going to cause a lot of people to experience it, right? And so God thinks that it's more morally valuable to have a world where a lot of people have this experience, but that, allows for the good of people abstaining than a world in which we don't have the good of people abstaining, but we also don't have the supermassive evil of people not abstaining, right?
No, I understand, and I'm like, I think grape is horrible, and if
yeah, of course,
with my limited knowledge, I would abolish it, right? But I'm just saying, God, I think has a more perfect.
But it seems like you have strong reason to think that would be an immoral thing to do, given that the perfect being is not doing it.
Yeah,
right?
let's say that you're taking a math test, and the dude next to you is fucking perfect.
You're sitting next to me.
Yeah, let's say you're sitting next to Dr. Blitz, and you're taking like a pre-calculus test. Don't you think Dr. Blitz is probably going to have the right answers? Like, shouldn't you be copying his answers?
Yeah, I think Blitz would actually...
Isn't God going to have better answers to moral dilemmas than you? Shouldn't you be copying his answers?
Yeah, so when you push me to that, I think God is the correct... Yeah, God is right in allowing grape to occur. It'll be a possibility.
Oh, so well, I take that as a reductio to the view, but let's take it a step further. So let's say that you come across somebody getting graped. Is God going to stop it?
No, God doesn't intervene because if He intervenes, it undermines the robustness of free will that we have here on Earth.
Does me intervening undermine the robustness of free will?
No, because you're also the person doing the grape, the person being graped, and the person stopping the grape. They're all interacting in a robust free will environment.
Wait, so I guess maybe I'm confused.
Would stop that whole robust environment.
So why would it stop free will if God intervenes?
Because if God stopped all sin, then we would just be discouraged to do any sin whatsoever.
Not all, just this one.
But why this one? That's where I'm pushing back. If He's going to stop this sin, we would have to go to the conclusion that He must stop all sin.
I don't see why.
I have a clarifying question. Would it be intervening with the free will if the dude is about to do the grape and then a piano falls on him? But completely by accident?
Yeah, the impossibility of doing sin does mess.
No, it's just in this one case, just a piano falls on the guy right before he does the grape.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The inability to actually do sin.
It wouldn't be a general inability. It's just in this specific case, right? In this specific case, it just happens that somebody's transporting a piano. It falls on his head right before he's about to.
I'm pretty sure it's happened where people just have heart attack, but I don't think that's a good.
Yeah, but the question is just does that meaningfully restrict their free will?
If it's just something that's a random event that occurs, but if it's just something that God uses every single time that somebody tries to grape, I think
no, just once. And I didn't say anything about whether God used it or not. It's just a thing that happened. The reason I ask is because there's kind of three different possible ways that this could be prevented. You could have an agent, like a person preventing it. You could have God, which is in some sense like a supreme person preventing it. Or you could just have like the nature of reality preventing it. And I'm asking, so it seems like you've said that if it's an agent like a regular person preventing it, that doesn't infringe on free will. If it's an agent like a supreme person preventing it, that does infringe on free will. I'm just asking about the third possibility.
The third possibility would actually fall into the second possibility, because it would be like almost God setting up a system that.
So you would say that in the event that like, wait a minute. So you would say that in the event that like it just happened to be that a piano fell on a guy's head right before he was about to grape somebody, that would be God infringing on the person's free will?
Yeah, unless it was just an accidental thing that freak.
No, in this case, it is just an accident, depending on your view of determinism. But it is just an accident. It wasn't nobody did it intentionally. It just happened.
How does this fit into the conversation that we're having then?
Well, we're just wondering.
The point is that this would be like, okay, better example. Perhaps it's like a rock slide. Like an earthquake happens, and then there's a rock slide that like crushes the guy.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff happens all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure that people are have heart attacks when they're trying to do something bad.
But does that infringe on their free will? That fact that natural occurrence happened.
Yeah, the natural sequence of Earth, or the natural sequence of events that occur on our life, doesn't really infringe on no, unless it's like intentionally
Is it a no?
up in a way that God purposely like does it. Then I think it would.
It would infringe on their free will.
If God set up a system that every time somebody tries to grape,
no,
a piano
it's just like
appears
no.
the sky.
It's just a landslide. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
With a landslide, with like just a random landslide in nature, landslides happen. Sometimes they kill people. If one of the people they killed was like about to grape, would that take away free will?
Are you okay? Are we moving the conversation to something else? Because
No, we're just trying to.
We're just testing category
God intervening, but now we're just saying that random events occur. Does that?
We're just trying to get clear on what is and isn't an intervention with free will.
And anytime that God personally intervenes, that's not. I don't think that would be good.
Wait. Do you think that answers the question?
Yeah, because all the other ones are
Okay.
fine.
What
All
do
the
you
other
think the
ones
question is?
Besides God intervening, everything else besides God intervening is okay.
So you would still have free will if you got crushed to death by a landslide?
Yeah. We don't control natural disasters. I don't see an issue.
So you can die and you'd still have free will?
Yeah, us dying doesn't limit our free will.
Okay. Would we lose if God snapped his fingers and killed the grapist, would that take away free will?
Again, I answered this, right? God intervening intentionally for the sake of stopping the sin. Yes.
Okay. I have no idea how. If you have free will after you die, but this person wouldn't have free will?
Hold on. God is purposely doing an action to stop the possibility of sin manifesting itself.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so if God like hardened the grapist's heart to make it that they didn't want to, would that interfere with free will?
Yeah, in anything that God does to make sin impossible is interfering with a robust free will and experience.
So would you say that God interfered with the free will of like the Pharaoh?
No. If you look at the scripture, I think it means more like the presence of God.
Or I guess maybe the flood. Did God take away people's free will when he flooded them?
No, because under Christian theology, God warned people that they must repent. So God is patient, right? And he warns people to change.
Would God
warning takes action.
Rapists, like right before they're about to do the act, would that take away their free will? Like just telling them, if you do this, you're going to hell.
I think he does. I think he does that every single day of their lives. I think rapists know that the things that they're doing are wrong.
So then he would be justified in like killing them in a flood.
Yeah, but if it's purposely like done just to prevent sin, a very specific sin, then I think it undermines the robustness of free will.
Wait, why did he do the flood again? Remind me.
The flood was done because there was no good to be found on earth, right? And he wanted to redo things and start over.
So he wanted to stop the sin?
Anytime. Okay, so I'll help you understand. So God does intervene, right? He intervenes only when His plan of salvation it goes astray, right? So if God did not intervene during Noah's time, then we wouldn't have like the atonement. We wouldn't have like all the other stuff that was necessary for the salvation of mankind.
But did He deprive those people of free will?
But yeah, did you hear the part where He only intervenes when it's endangering the plan that He has?
Do you think that answers the question?
It does. If you listen,
what do you think the question is?
I'm giving a symmetry breaker.
But
where there's
what do you think the question
something that's
is, though?
endangering the actual plan, the ultimate plan that He has, right?
Wait, so the question at this stage is just, did it take away their free will?
No, but I gave you a symmetry break. I gave you the difference between why He
I don't want a
intervened
symmetry. I would just want like a yes or a no.
But I thought I answered your question. You're just not listening.
Is it yes or no?
I think the answer is yes, it does take away their free will, but that's fine because He had to, otherwise the plan would have been averted or something like that, right?
Thank you. Yeah, that's
but RASOL, so maybe that can apply to Noah's flood. What about like Sodom and Gomorrah? What did these two little towns have to do with the plan?
Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah.
You like exploded them.
The one where like yeah, I know the story. What about it? Like natural.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like okay, you can argue that like well, you needed the covenant with. You could argue that you needed the covenant with the rainbow and blah 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 in order to make the plan work. But like, what was the necessity of Sodom and Gomorrah being like blown up?
Again, I think Sodom and Gomorrah serves as like a moral story that teaches about all these stories that we find in the Bible. They have like moral symbolism.
Did He take away free will?
Are you asking me anytime somebody dies, is it just taking away free will? Is that your...
Every time God acts in a way that will cause someone to die.
Or like when Lot's wife turns into a pillar of salt because she looked at Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
She was warned.
She was warned, you're right.
Okay, this is a good question. Let me think about this. Hold on.
I mean, I don't think... It seems like you could say here the sort of thing that you want to say a bunch of other cases, right? It's just that, God's sort of salvific vision, the beatific vision, was such that if Sodom and Gomorrah had been, allowed to continue to exist, that would have caused some great moral evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if Lot's wife was allowed to continue to look at Sodom and Gomorrah, it would have caused some great moral evil.
Would have caused some great moral evil, yeah.
You just can't see His plan, but He knew it couldn't have not been a pillar of salt. It was crucial for the plan.
There couldn't have been one less person in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Nope. Couldn't have saved any of the animals. Certainly couldn't have just teleported all the people into the sun during the flood.
No, they had to drown.
Yeah. These puppies, it was the only way.
But I think like the whole flood thing is symbolic of baptism and the
but baptism's supposed to be good. Floods are bad.
Wait, no. Let's stay linear. Wait. Let's stay linear.
When people get baptized, right? It symbolizes like the shedding of like the
washing away of sins.
The washing away of sins. So a lot of the scriptures are just symbolic.
Wait, but I just want to stay linear. What was the thing that you had to pause to think about? Like, I want an answer to that. Like, Sodom and Gomorrah, did Sodom and Gomorrah intervene with their free will?
No. Like I said, God does intervene, but it's very like it's when He feels that it's necessary to intervene, right?
So it did intervene with their free will.
No, every single time that God intervenes, it's intervening with the person's free will, right?
Okay.
But He does it only sparingly when He feels that it's necessary.
Does He do it only when there's like a greater good?
I don't know what that means.
Just that He has like
some when it would be worse for Him
would be greater good, but like he allows sin for a reason.
So is the thing that separates Him intervening versus not intervening that there's like some higher good which justifies God in not intervening?
He has His reasons. I wouldn't be able to give you all the specific reasons why God intervenes sometimes.
Yeah, are those reasons moral reasons, to be clear?
Well, everything that does.
That's all that's being asked, is just if God has sort of sufficient moral reason for intervening in all of these specific cases and not intervening in all of these other cases.
Yeah, he has. I don't know what it means to have moral reasons, but he has a reason why he intervenes.
And would the world be morally worse off if he didn't intervene?
Yeah, when he looks at the whole situation, he looks at it and says, you know what, I need to intervene. If I don't intervene, then this is going to occur. So yeah, I think he has a bigger picture where it justifies his intervening or his not intervening.
So to clarify, in your view, the world would be worse off if God had intervened.
You say that God has like a broader scope. Is he like seeing the like all possible futures of certain outcomes, or is he seeing like the one predefined future? And like how do you picture God as God's ability to intervene with and also see the future of the universe?
Yeah, like I see that God is able to interact with each one of us, right? He has a personal relationship with all of us. So because of that understanding of where we're at spiritually, I think he can make predictions of where the future is going to take us. Right? So
is this like God exists in time, but he can perfectly predict the future kind of thing?
I think the future is somewhat open, but he does have some predictive power, just in the sense that he's able to see the hearts of men and their intentions.
Okay, yeah, we can go. Sorry, that was a diversion. I just didn't know what your take was.
That's okay.
I have like 5 minutes because I'm going to go eat with my family really quick. I have like 5 minutes.
Fuck. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Wait, we just gotta get it done quickly then. If God doesn't intervene, so I turn the corner, I see someone getting raped. God isn't down there intervening. Do I know that God there's like some fact for why this is still the best possible world?
Hold on. Guys, I gotta go.
I can tell you what I'd say if I was theist, right? It would just be that God knows that you're going to intervene and thinks that it's more morally valuable for you to be able to accomplish that great good.
Thanks for having me up, Ian.
Thanks for coming up. What if God knows that I'm thinking about this specific argument and that because of it I will conclude that I'm not going to intervene?
Well, God would also know that you've been provided the excellent counter-argument that I'm giving right now, and then would know that you're being epistemically unvirtuous by not accepting.
But then what if Ian does decide to intervene because of this excellent counter-argument?
Well, then that's good, right? Then God has created a more beautiful world because someone has been epistemically virtuous and also stopped a great evil, right?